After the Fukushima nuclear power station disaster, over 1,000 residents of nearby Futaba were moved out to Saitama Prefecture near Tokyo. There are still 800 people sheltering in the high school where they took refuge. In the final part of our series of features on recovery in Japan, we went to find out how they're doing.
津波の第一波の様子です。波が大きく押し寄せています。
Natural disaster or man-made calamity. The massive Japanese earthquake and tsunami on March 11th crippled Fukushima nuclear power station. The level 7 disaster forced the evacuation of residents within a 20-kilometer radius. 100 days after the disaster, residents of nearby Futaba have homes to which they cannot return. This classroom in Saitama Prefecture was converted into a shelter. Tatami mats, quilts, tables and other possessions litter the area. Residents eat, sleep and live here. In the open room, refugees chat and pass away the hours. But faced with the lack of privacy and the arrival of hotter weather, you need a sense of humour.
I don't have any clothes. There are some summer things, but nothing in my size that I can wear. There's nothing in my size, so I haven't got a stitch to wear. It's all for thin people to wear. There's nothing for my figure. There is aid, but it's no good. It's a headache. There are no clothes and no vegetables. Yes, that's very important.
The life and soul of the shelter, Mrs. Suzuki's property in Futaba, escaped the disaster unscathed, but the invisible threat of radiation means she may never see her home again. Of her family of 3, only her husband is still in Fukushima.
My husband works for Tokyo Electricity Power Company on the front line from Okuma to the nuclear power plant. He comes back occasionally on leave, so now I'm here with my son. My son doesn't have a job, he's only 26. He's very young, but if he carries on like that, for a man it's no good. He has to find a job, so we need to move away from here. I'm worried about my husband's health and that he's not eating right. Over there, the food isn't good enough. It's even more unhealthy than here, and there aren't enough vegetables here. The diet isn't balanced, but over there it's worse.
Medical staff come to the shelter to give residents regular workouts. Of the 1,400 refugees who were relocated here at the end of April, over 800 are still here.
3ヶ月過ぎました。当初はね、
3 months have already passed. At the time, we thought it was a place to live and eat, which was all we needed. But after living here, the problem of individual privacy came up. Most of the people who left here did so because of the lack of privacy. No matter what, when people live together, that's bound to happen.
The mayor has the heavy responsibility of placating frustrated residents. Having resolved to evacuate hundreds of kilometers away to Saitama to escape the threat of radiation, he must stand by his decision.
一言で言えないくらいいっぱいありますよね。どうでしょうね。
There are a lot of things I can't tell people. The residents' demands are wide and many, and I can't ignore them. The question that I can't answer that gives me the biggest headache is, when can we go back? When can we go back? Mayor, can you give us an answer? But I can't answer that question.
答えられないことっていうのは一番困る質問は
Also unable to go home, the mayor has no one to whom he can turn to share his woes. However, his office is working hard to quickly give residents temporary homes.
いわき市にもですね、
Back in Iwaki, we are preparing to build 250 temporary homes, And in central Saitama, there is public housing and civil servant housing. There are a lot of places to live. Added together, there are around 1,000 homes that can be moved into at any time. If you want to keep living here, that's okay too. The governor of Saitama is giving his full support.
More than helping settle the residents, the homes will be a dream come true for the mayor and his staff.
All
Futaba residents, including me, hope in the future to go back to Futaba. Up until now, we are standing together with the residents to achieve the dream of finding accommodation and getting our lives back on track. Everyone shares that dream.
Three months after the disaster, in front of the town hall, flowers are placed in memory of the civil servants who lost their lives. The road to recovery will be long and hard, but the surviving staff are determined to help local residents stand up again. After the disaster, hope is the clarion call that can energize the recovery effort.